My name is Harold, but most people call me Harry. I'm 78 years old, and I want to tell you about the man who shaped more of my life than anyone else outside my family. His name was Samuel. We met in 1972. I was 24, working my first real job at a small hardware store in Ohio. Sam was already there when I started. He was 26, quiet, serious, the kind of guy who didn't waste words. For the first few weeks, we barely talked, just nodded at each other while stocking shelves or helping customers. One afternoon, the power went out during a storm. We couldn't close the store yet, so we just sat on the counter in the dark and started talking. That conversation lasted 3 hours. We talked about everything, childhood dreams, girls we were too shy to talk to, fears about the future. By the time the lights came back on, something had shifted. We weren't just co-workers anymore. We were friends. Not the loud kind of friends. Not the dramatic kind. Just steady. We got married within a year of each other. Our wives became close. Sunday barbecues became a routine. Then came kids, school events, soccer games, late-night phone calls about bills and responsibilities, and wondering if we were doing this whole adult life thing correctly. Life moved fast. In 1988, my business failed. I lost almost everything we had saved. I remember sitting at my kitchen table, head in my hands, feeling like I had failed my family. Sam showed up without calling. He didn't give a lecture. He didn't offer solutions. He just sat down and said, "We'll figure out." And somehow, that made it easier to breathe. Years passed. Our kids grew up and moved away. Our wives started talking about retirement plans. Sam and I started meeting every Wednesday morning for coffee at the same small diner. Same booth, same order, black coffee. No sugar. That we talked about politics, about back pain, about how music used to be better. Mostly, we talked about nothing important. But it was important. In 2010, my wife passed away after a long illness. I didn't know how to exist without her. The house felt hollow. The silence was unbearable. Sam started coming over every evening. Sometimes we'd watch television. Sometimes we'd sit without saying a word. He never told me to stay strong. He never said, "She's in a better place." He just stayed. That's what real friendship is. Staying. That a few years later, Sam's health began to decline. Heart problems, hospital visits, medications lined up on his kitchen counter. One day, while we were at the diner, he looked at me and said, "Harry, promise me something." I asked what. "Don't disappear after I'm gone." I laughed it off, told him he wasn't going anywhere. But he knew. Last winter, he suffered a massive heart attack. I was at the hospital when the doctors told me there was nothing more they could do. I held his hand. I told him about that storm in 1972, about the dark hardware store, about how that was the day I met my best friend. He squeezed my hand once, and then he was gone. When someone has known you for over 50 years, they carry pieces of you that no one else does. Sam remembered who I was before life shaped me, before responsibilities, before losses. After his funeral, I went to the diner alone. I sat in our booth. The waitress looked at me and said, "Just one coffee today?" I nodded. It's strange how ordinary moments become sacred once they're gone. I've realized something in these quiet months without him. Friendship isn't about excitement. It's about presence. It's about showing up when it's inconvenient. It's about sitting in silence. It's about knowing someone's history and loving them anyway. If you have someone like that in your life, don't assume they'll always be there. Call them, visit them, sit with them. One day, you'll wake up and reach for your phone. And remember, you can't. I would give anything for one more Wednesday morning coffee. But I'm grateful for 50 years, grateful for the ordinary days, grateful that when it mattered most, neither of us walked alone. That's enough.